Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to bring you a guide I've been looking forward to doing for a while on the Special Interception Gravedigger. It's one of the more challenging bosses for Special Interception. It took me a while to clear it. It's very difficult. I actually only cleared it maybe, I want to say about a week ago, and it took a lot of trial and error to get it down to where I could clear it reliably. I think the first time I cleared it was just a fluke, and I couldn't repeat it. And then I had to make some tweaks, change lineup, etc. And then I finally got it down to where I can clear it reliably. And so this video is going to be a little longer than my other ones, just because I think there's a decent amount to talk about, especially for team comp, things like that. So the first thing I want to say is that you don't necessarily have to be, all decked out, very high level gear, very high level skills in order to clear this. I'll go ahead and go over the Nikkes that I did use to clear it, and you'll see that a lot of their skills are only 444. Their gear is not optimal, and I think that even if your gear is not optimal, that you should still try your best to clear it because the rewards are just so good, and so you don't want to miss out on basically 1 out of 5 days, right? For gear, I think it limits your progress quite a bit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I think the first thing that I want to do here is look at my Nikkes. So I'll just want to show that my Nikkes aren't, they're not fully invested in. Let's just say that, at least the ones that I'm using for Special Interception. So let me see if I have it saved here. Let's see in the squad. I use that. This is my main squad here that I use, and then let's see if I have it here. So that's not it. This is not it either. So here it is. So here is the composition that I use for Gravedigger Interception. I think the attack buff from Leader helps quite a bit. Noir is, I think, critical to have. Modernia is also really good. I do like Leona, and Sugar, I'm not sure about her, but I am using her. I may experiment a little later and see if we can change the lineup, but for now this is working well, and I'll go over why. So the reason that we use Noir is because she has this skill, which we will see here, um, increases damage to interruption parts. And so Gravedigger has a lot of those QTEs that are really annoying that we want to get down ASAP, and this really helps. Now, without Blanc in the party, it only affects shotgun units. So you can make an argument here for putting Blanc in the party so that you do get the bonus on Modernia. But I will put the caveat that that only is really effective during burst. So if you're having issues clearing the circles outside of burst, then I would be wary of putting Blanc in the party, and you may want to stick with Leona, and I'll go over why in just a little bit. So another thing that's really good about Noir is she has this skill 1 here, which is basically an attack increase. So you get basically a flat 12.16% at level 7 here, basically all the time. You shouldn't be taking any damage in this Special Interception, so you should always have this buff active. And the skill 2, I haven't invested in a ton, but it's also really good. It does reload your magazine, so let's say we're running low on ammo before you burst, and when you go to full burst, it automatically reloads 32.18% of the magazine, which is really good. It's not really beneficial for Modernia per se, since if you are bursting with her, then she has unlimited ammo. But if you're using Modernia as your third, basically burst 3, then she won't be bursting, and she will get a big reload. So it is helpful for everyone, I think. And I do plan on upgrading this a little bit later, but this is just an example of showing that my character isn't fully invested in here. So I have only a level 3 cube, and my gears, I do have tier 4 on the on the helmet, and I do plan on trying to get some more upgrades on the glove here just for extra attack, since I do think it'll be helpful. But no overloaded gear here. So I think it just goes to show that you can definitely clear this with lower-ish tier characters. And the next one I want to look at, well, actually, we'll just go and take a look at my Nikke's that I use. So you'll see that Leader also is not fully invested in. Her skills are only 5, 4, and 6 here. Her cube is only level 3 as well. No overloaded gear. We'll go to Modernia. Now, Modernia is one of my more heavily invested units. So she has 2 overloaded gears. She has pretty high skills, so 9, 7, and 5. Her cube still is only level 3 though. So Modernia is probably the strongest character here, and I really do like her for this interception, and I'll go into that in a little bit and explain why. But the other one, we'll look at Leona. You'll see she does have 2 pieces that could be turned into overloaded gear, but I haven't invested anything into it yet, and her skills are only 5, 4, and 4. And her cube, I just have her on a level 2 cube here. Let's see, I think that was it. Did we miss anyone? Oh, Sugar. So we'll take a look at Sugar's gear. So you can see just, minimally upgraded. Got 3 on the helm and a 1 on the glove and 4, 4, 4. So you can see that not really invested in. I only have a level 2 cube. And so I think most people should be able to clear this without really heavily investing on Nikke's. And so a lot of these Nikke's, in fact, 4 out of 5 are not my primary Nikke's. So it's definitely doable. I would just keep at it, try your best, and then try your best to get it so that you can basically advance further, right? I mean, it's kind of like I guess it's like a kind of like a hideous circle. You can't upgrade your gear because you can't pass it, and then without upgrading your gear, you can't pass it. And so try to break that as soon as you can so that you can so it doesn't hinder your progress. All right, and so I will go back and take a look at the skills here, because there is something that I do want to address, and it's the fact that you can't always rely on your burst to take down the QTEs. It is so much easier during burst, but you need to be able to destroy the circles outside of burst in order to clear reliably. Otherwise, you're relying too much on RNG to get that burst when you need it, and you may be spending, an hour or just too much time trying to clear this every time it comes up, and it becomes not worth it if you have to spend way too much time trying to clear this. So the reason I like Modernia is if we look at her skill 1 here, it activates when normal attack hits, it affects the targets, and it deals 2.92% of final attack as additional damage. Now this is super important because this does not rely on burst. So you're getting this extra damage just from the skill alone. And so you do not need to burst or rely on burst in order to deal good damage with Modernia. And then you also get this other damage buff here, which is activates when normal attack hits 200 times, and you get critical damage. You also get max ammunition capacity, which is decreased. But I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons here, and you can get past the maximum ammunition capacity decrease partly by utilizing Noir's burst, which will reload your ammo. All right, and so the other skills here are going to be burst related, so we're not going to go into those, but I will bring up Leona here because I think it's important to take a look at this. So if we take a look at her skills here, she has again 2 skills that go on burst, but if we take a look at this first one, it's actually not bad. It activates after 5 normal attacks, it affects all allies, and then you get critical rate of 2%. It stacks up to 5 times for a total of basically 10% at level 5. Now this is really good because this is a buff that takes effect outside of burst. So it will help you break the circles when you're not in burst. And I think that's really important. And then she also has this additional buff only for shotgun units, but after 15 normal attacks, the maximum effective range increases by 20%. So in Gravedigger, it's not as beneficial because you're already up and close and personal with the boss. But it could help when the boss does fall back, because when we watch the video, you'll see that at times the boss does fall back after you, especially after you do the different phases. So as you advance from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, the boss will fall back. And then during that time, you'll be able to deal a little bit more damage because of this skill. So I think it's important here. Also, it's not to be overlooked here, but this courageous look is actually really beneficial because not only do you get a hit rate increase during full burst, but you'll also get increased number of pellets for your 2 highest ally attack units that use a shotgun. So the reason this is important is because it also helps you break those QTEs, right? So more bullets equals more damage, and then you can get those QTEs down faster. So I think it's really important that we have that. And so that's why I think that Leona is actually really, really good for this comp, or this interception, I mean. Okay. And then, of course, we have the level 4 burst here, which is more critical damage and critical rate. So all those are helpful. All right. I think that is all I want to show you. So just to recap, the 2 things that we want to focus on are damage during QTEs to help you down the QTE circles, or higher damage during burst to down the QTE circles. But I would say that's of secondary importance to clearing the QTEs outside of burst. So we definitely want to be able to guarantee that we can clear the QTEs during burst, but that's pretty easy, right? Because your teammates are going to automatically focus wherever you are aiming. So it's not terribly difficult to break those QTEs. So I would actually prioritize trying to up your damage outside of burst. And so I think that should be your main priority. So here we have Noir giving an attack damage increase outside of burst. We have Modernia, which is able to deal a lot of damage because of her skill 1 outside of burst, which is very helpful. And then we have Leona giving damage increase outside of burst. And so with Modernia, I think I will mention that shotgun units are good here, but machine gun units are also extremely valuable. And the reason is because it's very difficult to hit those QTEs as they're constantly flying around. Even if you're on a shotgun, the attack speed is not very high for shotgun units. Even Sugar, with her attack speed increase, it's very likely that you'll miss, right? And if you're missing, you're losing a ton of damage, and then you may even fail to clear the QTE because just RNG, you just can't hit the circles, right? So with Modernia, it's much easier because she's a machine gun unit, and with the very high fire rate, you're almost guaranteed to land, maybe 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10. You're guaranteed to land a lot of hits on the QTE circle. And when you do land those hits, you want to get as much damage as possible from those hits, which is why, we have Noir and Leona. But the point being that it's better to have some hits than no hits, right? And so that's why I think the machine gun units are actually pretty valuable here. And then you'll actually see me using Modernia to, I guess, not to break the circles because, we're trying to break the circles, but you'll notice that I'm using Modernia on manual. And so it's very helpful to have her on manual, because as long as you're focused on the QTE, you'll have your shotgun units helping you when you are on burst to burst those down. And I found that it actually works so much better to have her on manual than to have one of the other shotgun units on manual. For some reason, I feel like I'm able to break the circles a lot easier with Modernia than I am with controlling, let's say, Noir or what, Sugar or Leona. All right, so without delaying it anymore, I think we talked about everything that was important here. We're going to go into the mechanics of the boss fight. It's actually pretty simple, the mechanics that is, but it's, I guess, executing what you need to execute. That's the difficult part, and we'll go over that as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Now, give me one moment here. I want to make sure that we're not going to get any lag here. So I'm actually going to disconnect my iPad. And then we'll go ahead and get started with this. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that we'll notice here is these missiles. So I'm actually going to pause it here. And then you'll see these missiles that are coming right here. So it's very important that you kill these missiles. If you don't kill these missiles, they will hit and stun whoever it hits. And the reason that's a big deal is because you're really relying on your burst here to take down these QTEs. I mean, I did say that you want to be able to clear them without burst, but why make your life more difficult, right? You want to clear if you have to, but the burst definitely makes it so much easier. And also it decreases your damage, right, if you're not able to burst. So imagine you have Leader and then you have Leona here, and they get stunned, and then you're not able to burst because you're missing your burst 1 or burst 2, and that can be very detrimental to your run. So I would say that killing the missiles is actually the most important thing, unless the boss is going to do the damage attack if you don't clear the QTEs, right? And so this first set, this is stage 1. You'll notice that there's 2 QTEs here. Let me just go back a little bit here. So you notice there's 2 QTEs, right? So there's 2 QTE circles. In this particular stage, if you fail the QTE circles 3 times in a row, then he'll do a big drill attack and he'll basically wipe out your team, right? So you want to keep track of how many QTEs you failed. And then let's say, for example, you failed QTE number 2, now you're on QTE number 3 and there's missiles coming. Then in that case, you're going to want to focus on the QTE circles instead of the missiles. But if you're on if you have a little leeway, then definitely take out these missiles or focus on these missiles first before you do anything else. Okay, and then the current phase, you'll actually see that this bar on top, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this phase will continue, phase 1, until you hit the 4th bar. And so you'll see here, I'm trying to get these missiles down. And then see here that I think, I'm trying to find an example where I focus on the missiles first, but I'm not sure I can have a good example for you guys. So this will be you'll see how after we cleared the 4th bar here at the top, that the QTEs changed to 3, right? So now we have 3 QTEs to take care of. And so in this second stage, I think if you fail 2 sets of QTEs, then he does his drill attack. So you want to make sure that you're timing your reloads and you're taking out the missiles or prioritizing the missiles at the correct time, right? So if you have already failed the first set and then have missiles launched, then you definitely want to focus on the QTEs instead of the missiles here. And the same thing with the reloads. You definitely don't want to run out of ammo on a critical QTE set, right? So you want to time your reload so that it's right after you clear a QTE. So, and we'll see that actually as we enter in I guess the third phase. You'll see me using the you'll see me reloading right after I do the QTEs. And then in order to do that, you have to take it off auto. So if you leave auto on, when you take your finger off or take the cursor off basically the attack, then the computer will automatically attack and won't reload. But if you have the auto aim off, then when you step back or let go of let go of the screen on the iPad, then the character will automatically reload. And so you definitely want to turn off auto aim and then do that manually to make sure that you have ammo when it's important. Okay. So you saw me prioritize the missiles there, and I think, oh good, my teammates took out the missiles there, so that was really good. So the next phase is going to be when this thing at the bar hits, or this bar at the top hits 7. And so when the bar hits 7, he's actually entering in the third phase. And this is very important that you get the timing down. And this is probably the hardest part, is you need to make sure that you're on burst, or that you burst right away after he enters in phase 7, because you have to clear those first set of circles. If you don't clear the first set of circles when he enters in phase 3 here, he does the drill attack. So that basically ends your run. So you need to make sure that you time your reload, you make sure that you time your burst so that you can take out this set of circles here at 7. And you'll see here that I did reload here. I think, let me see, scoot it back just a little bit. You saw that I failed that set. I got that set. I'm getting this set. And I think I try to get this set, yeah, and then I reload. See, right after that set, and I just let this one go, because there's no point, right? You don't want to try to get it and then run out of ammo and then you can't clear. So I think it's very important to reload at the correct times. And then there it is, finally done, right? And so through trial and error, I noticed that manually Modernia is going to be your best bet here. So I'll definitely try to do that. Some people recommend, manning the shotgun unit like Noir. I did clear it with her, but I found it more difficult. If you're going to utilize a shotgun unit for clearing this, I would definitely do Noir, because she has very fast reload speed, which definitely helps in clearing out those circles. All right. So I think I went over everything that was important to get you through this special interception. I wish you luck. It is very challenging. Don't give up. If you need to play with skills and upgrade some things in order to clear it, I definitely would recommend doing that. I don't think it's a waste of resources, because if you can't clear this, you're actually losing a ton of resources. So I think it's worth investing a little bit of those skill manuals, investing some of those gears for upgrading and things like that, so that you can clear this. And if for this team comp, if you're not able to do it with the team comp that I have here, try upgrading some of the skills that will increase your damage and also outside of burst. So I would definitely prioritize Noir's skill number 1. I would prioritize Leona's skill number 1. And I would prioritize Modernia's skill number 1 here. And if you don't have Leona, no worries. I think Blanc still does a really good job here, and you can substitute Blanc for Leona. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I really do wish you guys luck. And any questions, comment below, ask below, and I will try to get back to you. Okay, all right, thanks for watching, guys.